Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is Mike Brown here with Remax in Toronto. Today I want to talk a little bit about just where the market is today. And for those of you who follow social media and mainstream media and have been trying to get a handle on what's been happening with the real estate market, I'm going to kind of break it down, not in a way where I predict what's taking place in 2026, but what I think really got us to this point and what I'm really sensing from a boots on the ground perspective. When I started the channel back in 2023, inventory was very low. Prices had already peaked over a year ago, but they were stable. And the market wasn't running away anymore, and it wasn't getting cold, and prices weren't falling. But that was simply because there wasn't enough product for the demand that actually existed. So again, I am a true believer in the supply-demand dynamics of any marketplace, and I think even more so sometimes with real estate does that play out. So recently, I came across an article in the Toronto Star where Royal Lepage and my company Remax basically capitulated on this ongoing narrative that real estate prices had bottomed out and the market was about to start to move forward, or prices would start to rise once again. And let's face it, we've been hearing this messaging from all sorts of people, real estate insiders or real estate people in the know, whether it's the head of CREA or the Toronto Real Estate Board or the head guy at Royal Lepage. Numerous predictions have been made over the past 2 years that prices would start to grow again. And in actual fact, what has happened is since that peak, prices for the most part, the average, median, and benchmark are all down. And the number is anywhere between 15 to 20% as a very broad average when you're talking about the highly participated markets like the Southwestern Ontario market and the busy areas on the West Coast. So now we're at a point where, people are saying, okay, 2026, my forecast isn't prices are going up. My forecast is prices are going down. Well, I think it's very difficult to forecast anything. So as a moderate person, I get back to the point that in any marketplace, it is extremely difficult to call the bottom or the top. If it was easy, we'd all be rich.
I mean, that would be nice.
So again, a market that is dominated by people who want a house or condo to call home, I don't think they're concerned about that. Yes, the reality is that you may buy today and it could be worth less tomorrow or a year or two down the road. But if your intent is to have shelter, to have a house or a place to call home, to raise and grow your family, that never was and shouldn't be your number one priority, because if you're going to be a family in that residence, you're likely going to be there for more than a year or two, let's hope. And quite likely, probably at this point in time, 10 years, I don't think you need to worry about where real estate prices are going to be in 10 years. If we do, we've got bigger problems on our hands.
Thanks, I guess.
So where am I going with this? Well, I think since the pandemic, we were all sheltered in place and we're looking for things to entertain us, there was an incredible growth of content creators in social media. And a lot of those content creators focused in on real estate. And for the most part, a lot of the information is good. And some of it calls out the BS in the industry, which is also a very positive thing. But what I've really realized is there seems to be kind of a self-motivating factor, whether it's the real estate companies in the know saying you better get in now, there's never been a better time. That wasn't really great advice. Whether it's real estate agents saying interest rates are coming down, you better get in now, there's never going to be a better time. Or perhaps other people in the industry who are calling out the real estate agents, brokers, and companies for creating that FOMO effect. The bottom line is there's a lot of sensationalism out there when you go to social media. And I think the sensationalism, it's self-serving and it's misleading. I didn't start this channel to become a YouTube sensation. The purpose of this channel for me is to have a regular contact point with my past clients and with people that I'm currently working with and with people who are considering working with me. And yes, I do get views outside of that sphere of influence, and that's a bonus, but it's not what this channel is all about. And I can promise you that you're not going to become a YouTube sensation and gain fame by producing a 5 to 7 minute episode every second Saturday.
Don't sell yourself short.
I've said time and time again, I consider myself a moderate. No bullshit. Let's just talk about the facts. So what are those facts? What got us here? Well, there's a few key points. The first thing that took place, pandemic. Sheltered in place, interest rates dropped, made things very attractive for people to get HELOCs, buy speculative condos, investment properties. And then we had the immigration, massive immigration, a lot of it students, specifically here in southwestern Ontario, that led to the rental crisis, or the ability for people to buy second homes and rent out rooms to students for profit. We also have a melting pot of, as I stated previously, content creators, streamers, social media people, sharing their information, trying to get views and clients. So now we have additional income streams to disseminate this information. We basically have an amplified story of what's taking place in the market. And the supply dynamics definitely affected it as well. The perfect storm, if you will. In conclusion, the thumbnail kind of states it all for me. Data over drama. Look at the inventory numbers. How's the supply-demand dynamic affecting the marketplace? And shelter over speculation. Houses were meant for people to have homes. They weren't meant to be investment vehicles. Yes, there's always been a percentage or a segment of the market that is investor-oriented, but let's face it, folks, it got out of control. The market now is at a point where the big real estate companies are saying prices won't go up this year. The fact of the matter is that the only thing that's been going up consistently over the last couple of years is inventory. And therefore, it took some time, and it happened. Prices have softened. Anyhow, that does it for my spiel for this one. Let's take a look at that current inventory story.
How's that inventory coming?
You can see, yes, the inventory is starting to climb, and it's gradual, like it is pretty much historically at this time every year. I do believe that there perhaps is an exit strategy for right now for anybody who's thinking of selling, because these inventory numbers are relatively low compared to where they were. The big question that remains to be answered for 2026 is, will the inventory numbers exceed the numbers we saw in 2025, which exceeded the numbers that we saw in 2024, which were dramatically higher than the numbers we had in 2023. So I think you know where I'm going with this. Anyhow, thanks for tuning in, everybody. And until the next episode, this is Mike Brown with RE/MAX, trying to uncover the real estate of real estate here in the GTA and southwestern Ontario. And don't forget, data over drama, shelter over speculation.